In this video, we are going to take a look at the company veterans and what they can do for the Deathwatch in 9th edition. That's right, company veterans, not Deathwatch veterans. Hear me out on this one, it's going to be worth it. First, we will take a look at what used to be the command squad and how exactly it works in 9th edition. Then we will compare the company veterans to our Deathwatch veterans before finally looking at how to include the company veterans in the Deathwatch army. Last but not least, there will be some modeling advice on top.
Welcome to SwissHammer, your channel for modeling in Warhammer 40k. My name is Tammer and I will be guiding you through this video.
So what happened to the command squad in 9th edition? Basically, the starting point of a command squad are the company veterans, which are an elite choice, unless you are including a captain in your list, in which case the first squad you include in a detachment does not take up a battlefield role slot at all. The size of the unit can be between 2 and 5, which is quite an odd range. They come with a veteran profile and can take a variety of weapons, including combi and special weapons, though the heavy weapons are limited to 1 per 5 models. By taking company veterans, you then unlock the option to take an apothecary, a company ancient and/or a company champion without them taking up a battlefield role slot either. The models all remain independent. This could potentially free up a lot of elite slots, which is great for regular Space Marine armies, though I suppose in the Deathwatch the competition is less severe due to kill teams counting as troops. So how do they compare against Deathwatch veterans? In a combat squad of 5, which is the max size of the company veterans, they start off at precisely the same points per model with a default loadout such as bolt gun and chainsword. Looking at the stats, they have the exact same veteran profile with the additional attack. The difference is that Deathwatch veterans count as troops and therefore gain objectives secured, and they can use the Deathwatch bolt gun, which has access to special issue ammunition. In turn, the company veterans get the bodyguard rule, which makes them excellent for protecting characters. What the bodyguard special ability does, it prevents characters with a wounds characteristics of 9 or less within 3 inches of this unit to be targeted by ranged attacks. This special rule of being bodyguards aside, on first glance it seems like the Deathwatch veterans are greatly outperforming the company veterans. They count as troops and gain OPSEC, can get more units into a squad, get access to special issue ammunition and more heavy weapons. And most importantly, they are the foundation of the excellent Proteus kill team, which opens up a multitude of options. For more information on the Proteus kill team, I recommend checking out my guide, which I've linked in the description. So why even bother with company veterans? The answer is their minimum squad size of 2. For a minimum investment of 40 points, you get 2 veteran Space Marines with access to a huge loadout selection and the bodyguard rule. 2 company veterans with storm bolters and storm shields are 58 points. This is the annoying kind of unit that you can use to perform actions, send them into table corners, or let them camp on uncontested objectives. If your opponent wants to deal with them, removing 2 Space Marines with storm shields will likely force them to dedicate a greater amount of points to them. Due to the potentially low amount of points they cost themselves, it's also very easy to include a squad or 2 as some kind of filler if you have leftover points that just aren't enough to include anything else with. Last and certainly not least, their bodyguard rule makes them an incredibly cheap way to add an additional layer of protection to characters. The reason for this is that even sniper weapons and similar that can ignore the lookout sir rule will not be able to ignore the bodyguard special ability and therefore cannot directly target the characters before taking out the bodyguards first. With the Chief Apothecary, a librarian casting the Feel No Pain, a captain providing rerolls, or a character carrying the Dominus Aegis relic, the Deathwatch has a multitude of great character support that can benefit from additional bodies with storm shields that have to be taken out first. This approach is similar to how kill teams can be used to shield more valuable units with cheaper and/or more durable ones. By including a company veteran squad or two at minimum strength, you are creating plenty of options depending on the matchup. If you are expecting a key character to be sniped by your opponent, you use the company veterans to shield the character from ranged attacks. For instance, you can move them alongside the Chief Apothecary and/or the Librarian. If your opponent doesn't have any character sniping capabilities, you can simply repurpose them for board control. Either way, it's a cheap and flexible investment. So how would I go about modeling them? There is of course the company command kit, which might be great if you are looking for a firstborn apothecary, captain, or even the champion. However, for the company veterans, I think our regular Deathwatch veterans look much better anyway, and as such are ideal for the job. But even better, if you happen to play in 8th edition and have a bunch of Stormbolter and Stormshield veterans from back in the days, guess what? They will make excellent company veterans, because those don't get access to special issue ammunition anyway. To wrap things up, the command squad has been reworked in 9th edition, and when combined with a captain, it offers a way to free up elite slots. While this is usually less of an issue in a Deathwatch army, the minimum squad size of 2 for company veterans makes them ideal for performing actions or sending them to remote corners of the battlefield. When equipped with storm shields, it is likely that your opponent will have to dedicate far greater resources in order to deal with them. Board control aside, the bodyguard ability of the company veterans makes them ideal to protect characters, such as the Chief Apothecary, the Librarian, or whoever happens to carry the Dominus Aegis. As far as modeling goes, the Deathwatch veterans are ideal choices to act as company veterans because they have that veteran look to them anyway. Even better, if you happen to be a former 8th edition player that still has models with Stormbolters and Storm Shields laying around, you can now use them as company veterans instead. So that's it for the company veterans in a Deathwatch army. Have you guys been using these before, and how has it been working out for you? Let me know in the comments. And as always, thank you very much for watching, guys. I hope you have been enjoying this video. Give me a thumbs up if you did, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't done so already. Thanks again, and see you next time.